welcome to All Things Football, yet another episode that we are having here in quick succession compared to our long layoff before lockdown. And of course, I have to wear the most informed team in the Premier League at the moment, scoring goals for fun, calling us upper grade Atalanta. You know what I'm saying? We're joined today by our resident Geordie, Wasim Ibrahim. And of course, we got a new guest face on this episode. We thought it appropriate to have a Liverpool fan on, liking the jersey, not liking the emblem so much. My brother, Taariq Abdullah, welcome to the show.
Thanks for the invite, guys. I've been a huge fan of the show since it started. Yeah, let's talk about football here, guys.
No problem. So what we're going to do is, of course, we've decided as All Things Football, we're going to dedicate this episode to Liverpool and their historic title victory. Unfortunately, Imran, our other resident Liverpool fan, couldn't join us today. Wasim, today we're going to give precedence to Liverpool. What are your thoughts about their title victory? 30 years in the making. Been a long, long time. We've been bantering them for decades. But finally, they got over the line.
Yeah, this is the first title that I can remember. I mean, I'm 32 years old, and it's the first title that I can remember them winning. So I've been used to my Liverpool fans and friends suffering, but yeah, many fans say they were suffering, but they still won Champions League twice in that time. So it's not that much of suffering, but compared to other clubs, I won't mention names, but. Exactly. We dream of Champions League and stuff, but yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle for them over the last 30 years. But they came close a few times, and I think they finally found the formula with Jurgen Klopp. We famously said 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, that if he's at Liverpool for a duration of 4 to 5 years, then they'll win the title. And so I think the success has been built since the day they appointed him. That was one of the main things that they could have done and the best things they could have done. So it started from there, and I think they've just gradually built on that. And if you keep going in the right direction, which they've done for the last 5 years, then eventually success comes your way. And so yeah, it's good to see my Liverpool friends and family enjoying the success. It's been well deserved, definitely, but still pains me to see the success ahead of my team, which I've been dreaming of for 30 years and longer.
Yeah, and you're gonna keep on dreaming. For me personally, like, you know what I think of Liverpool. I'm a United fan through and through, and the day that we dreaded came through to form. And of course, we know our Liverpool fans are going to banter us until they relinquish the title. They've been, for the last, I'd say, 2-3 seasons, maybe, they've really been knocking on the door. They've been doing well, unfortunately better than United. Hopefully it doesn't last too long. Tariq, tell us, how did you celebrate the victory, and when did you know that, when did you get that feeling that Liverpool were going to clinch the title?
Look, this season, I think I don't think that Liverpool played as well as they played last season. I think this year it was more they grinded out results consistently. So when I watched Liverpool this year, I thought, they wore teams and they killed them in the last 15 minutes of games, and that's what champions are made of. It reminded me a lot of Ferguson's United sides, where they actually they killed the teams in what they call Fergie time, and that's how they won titles, because a lot of the games this year Liverpool hasn't played particularly well, but they actually got the result over the line. So when Liverpool started continuously winning, I thought, you know what, maybe I won't say this will be our year. All Liverpool say, no, next year's our year, all Liverpool fans say, but that was never me. And then when we started pulling away from when City started dropping points, I thought, you know what, maybe we'll just pull this through. And knowing Jurgen Klopp and his tactics, I think, and with his ways, pushing the guys, as I said, mentality monsters, and with a very underrated captain, in my opinion, Jordan Henderson, pushing the team through.
What?
Look, still till this day, a lot of people even Liverpool fans doesn't rate Jordan Henderson, but he brings a lot of energy to the side. So that's just my
You know what?
opinion.
I have to say something. So for this last decade, I've been listening to Liverpool fans totally berate Jordan Henderson. Like all I've heard is Henderson's not good quality. If Imran was on this show right now, I'd call him out because I know he's one of the people that always said, "Listen, Henderson's not good enough. He shouldn't be captain." This last season or so, all I've been hearing are praises of Jordan Henderson. Now, I'm not saying he. Well, in my opinion, Gini Wijnaldum is the better player, but the better midfield
Okay.
player. And if you're going to add Fabinho to that, then Fabinho's ability to play a ball or pick a pass is much better than Henderson. But this season, it's like Henderson all of a sudden is talked about as a really good player, whereas in seasons gone by, people wanted him out of the club. And it just goes to show that when you're on top and when you're doing well, it's easy to sometimes overlook people's performances if they are a bit poor. I'm not saying Henderson has been poor this season. That's
All
more
right.
for Liverpool, right? Whereas when you're not doing that well, then it's a case of listen, your lack of contribution is going to come more to the fore and so on. But yeah, what you're saying, Tariq, and
You see
what you
what in my with Henderson is he brings a lot of energy to the side, and when he doesn't play, and particularly when like today, you can see it. They're just missing that intensity in the game. For the past few years, I've been saying Henderson's a good player. People say no, he's not. He's not good enough for the Liverpool side. But all I said was give him time. It's almost like when Lucas Leiva came to Liverpool and people and he wasn't great at all, and he grew into a fan favorite, and then people started liking him. You gotta believe that Klopp brought in the place. Okay, Klopp gave me the captaincy for a reason. You know what I mean? And it pushed through in the end. He won a Champions League and a Premier League consecutively. So he must be doing something right.
sometimes you need those players to fulfill other roles in the side and not always be the one. Sometimes a less glamorous role in the side for the team to really, come to the fore and for the cream to rise to the top. I think that's what happened with Liverpool. I think that Henderson's role in the Liverpool side. So you mentioned that today Henderson wasn't in the squad and it told in your performance. So when Henderson's not in the squad and not in the starting 11, who for you is the best replacement in that position?
I think since restart, I think Navigator has been playing well, in my opinion. But Gini Wijnaldum, Ox hasn't been playing well, in my opinion, for the since even before the lockdown, and now even so, Navigator, best replacement at that point right now, since Henderson's injured as well. But he'll always stick to Fabinho, Wijnaldum. That's energy. That's energy in the midfield. That's your engine room, basically.
Another player I just want to bring up, Taariq, is Xherdan Shaqiri. Like he's been getting minimal minutes this season. I know when he was signed up from Stoke, of course it was a bargain. I think he came for something like 12 mil, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah, 12,
Look
11, 12.
as a good squad player. What's happened this season with him? Like he hasn't had much game time. I've been hearing talks about one extra player calling him out for like a lack of ambition, a lack of drive, not wanting to push the manager to put him in the starting lineup. So, what's his future looking like? And yeah, what's the situation around Shaqiri at the moment?
So from what I heard and from what I read as well, before the lockdown, I think it was in January or February. I think it's just Klopp said he's got a unique injury. I don't know what that meant at the time. I read up about it. He said his muscles, he's got massive muscles. I don't know what that meant. So it could have been a whatever muscle injury. I know he suffered from a calf injury just before it ended in December, November, I think around about there. But when he played against Everton, he was amazing. And then after that, Klopp said it's just an injury, a niggle, but he hasn't played all season. I think it's lack of ambition. I don't think he always gets along with Klopp, in my opinion, because he doesn't push the team as much as the front three. So Liverpool counter press team, and Shaqiri isn't maybe Salah chase back all the time, Mane chase back all the time. So fitness maybe came into a big play because Klopp's teams you have to be super fit. And
Yeah.
Shaqiri, injury prone throughout his career. Even at Stoke, he was injury prone. Now I came to Liverpool, was also injury prone. So that was also probably a struggle to get back in the team. And in that way, maybe he called out Klopp and says getting a lack of game time. But when you're winning, when you have a winning formula, you don't really change it, do you? So you make minimal changes. And when that front three is hitting, who are you going to take out? Firmino, I don't think so. Salah, no, don't think so. So
Do you
maybe that's why also.
do you think you can like you mentioned the front three? Do you think he can fit into a middle three for Liverpool, or is his work rate just not good enough? Like you said in the engine room.
If he picks up his work rate, I think he'll be, because his vision is amazing. And I'll take out Barcelona when we didn't have that front three. Firmino and Salah didn't play in that game. And Shaqiri was amazing. Even Everton this season with Origi, they played amazingly. But you got to be consistent every single week. And if you're not, then you know what Klopp does. He benches you, come out as an impact player. It's the same with Divock Origi this season. He didn't miss, in my opinion. He starts games, doesn't play well. So, yeah, that's a Shaqiri. But I still rate Shaqiri. I think he's a great player, in my opinion. But in the Liverpool squad at the moment, or the Liverpool starting 11, I don't think he gets in.
If you had to choose a player, that was going to be your player of the year for Liverpool this season, who would it be and why? Obviously, there's been a few standouts. For me personally, I often think I don't think he's a player of the year, but a player for me that is really, really important to you guys, and maybe it gets overshadowed by like Van Dijk being in front of him. But Alisson for me is the top goalkeeper. Like I've seen him pull out really proper match winning save. I remember last season against Brighton, he pulled out this amazing save, scooping the ball from a position where the ball was just bouncing off a Glenn Murray header. He pulled off a great save against Napoli to keep you guys in the Champions League. You know, a lot of people don't talk about it, but if he didn't pull out that save, Liverpool wouldn't have made it, you know, all the way through. So I think he's a top keeper, but yeah, like I said, who would you be your top player for Liverpool for this season?
I have two. There's Allison, but to me, he played too little games because he was injured most of the time. I think 11 games he was out. But for me, Sadio Mane, without a doubt, he was a match winner for us this season. He pulled goals that out of nowhere, scored goals out of nothing, and we needed that. Like in crunch times, Villa, I think Southampton, who weren't playing well, he scored a cracker. I think in Newcastle, he scored one as well. But yeah, Sadio Mane for me, without a doubt.
Verify that.
Hey?
Wasim will verify the Mane goal against Newcastle.
Yeah, it's bringing back bad memories.
And I
But
think
I
also,
think my favorite goal,
yeah, go ahead, Taariq.
I think my favorite goal was Sadio Mane was Southampton. Liverpool weren't playing well at all in that game, and then out of nothing, he just smacks a ball into the top corner. But for me, he's been Liverpool's best player of the season. That's just my opinion. Sadio Mane, definitely.
Yeah, I think this season, like when I know Wasim watched when Newcastle came to Anfield, and Newcastle were looking pretty decent, and then Dubravka made a bit of a slight error on the first goal. Liverpool scored, and then they never looked back. And then I mentioned to Wasim as well when you guys played Watford at Anfield. Watford had quite a few chances that they didn't bury. Um, and as we know in football, when you have chances, especially coming to places like Anfield, playing against teams like Liverpool, you need to take your chances. If you don't take your chances, the quality in opposition, they're going to cut you to shreds and they're going to, dismantle you. So, yeah, is there any place in the side that you feel that you guys can improve? Of course, winning the league will be a big weight off Liverpool's shoulders, but next season you guys got to go and do it again. Then of course it's Champions League yet again, so you need a squad to compete on all fronts. Do you think there's any position on the pitch in particular you guys can improve? And what type of players would you like to see come in? Who would you like to see club sign?
I think Liverpool definitely needs a left back, in my opinion. Back up with Robertson as well, because James Milner is not going to be there all the time. And when Milner plays at left back, he swings everything onto his right foot. It spoils the dynamic of the way they play, really. So I think Liverpool, there was talks of Norwich's left back, Lewis, I think his name is, that they're looking at as well. And I think they need another attacker. Centrally, maybe someone who can play front in right, left, or through the center. I would have loved Timo Werner, but that obviously didn't work out. I think Minamino can do it for us, but I think he's a bit lightweight so far. He just needs to be a bit stronger, and he has to just improve gel with the squad. Because I know Liverpool is going to lose quite a. I think Lallana is at the end of his contract this season, so they need to replace quite a few players there. But I think up front and the left back is priority, in my opinion, for Liverpool.
Taariq, I've got a question for you as well. I was watching the game today, and youngsters Williams and Jones started. They seem to perform okay. Jones looks a great talent in that he scored against Everton in the FA Cup, I think it was, as well, and he scored last week as well. So, what are your opinion of those two players in particular, and do you think they're ready to be part of the squad next season?
Definitely Curtis Jones. I think Curtis Jones plays with no fear. I think he's a bit naive at times. He's getting used to everything, but I think he's a brilliant talent. I'm a huge fan of Nico Williams. I think he's gonna challenge Trent, because Trent defensively is not the best, but he's gonna push Trent to be better, I think, next season. Also, I'm a huge fan of Harvey Elliott. I think he's gonna be an amazing player. He just keeps his head down, do what he needs to do in the squad, and then he'll be a good player. But Curtis Jones definitely is gonna make I think he's gonna be a big impact on Liverpool next year, especially with all the games that they're going to play, because it's probably going to be a more cramped up season as well, because it's starting late. So Curtis Jones definitely one of my favorites, but Harvey Elliott definitely one of my favorites to watch this season, especially when I watched him in the FA Cup and League Cup as well.
Now, you spoke about who you think Liverpool's going to bring in based on rumors. Who do you want to see at Liverpool? I know you mentioned Werner. A lot of Liverpool fans wanted to see him at the club, but if you had to, I keep seeing hashtag Mbappe 2020, never gonna happen.
Never gonna happen.
Who do you personally like? Who do you want to see at Anfield?
I really like Kai Havertz of Leverkusen. I think he's a brilliant player, and he can play across the front line, in my opinion. But it looks like Chelsea's front running for him, and I think they want about 50 mil for him or something, because apparently,
if not more,
because he is that type of quality player. But for me, just I don't know actually, Kai Havertz, and maybe a huge fan of Jordan Sancho as well, but I don't think he will come. And Jordan Sancho.
Keep our players' names out of your mouth.
He's a player for Dortmund at the moment. He's not a United player.
Put him in his place. Put him in his place.
Yeah, and you asked me, and I really like Jack Grealish. Just his work rate for me is next level. But yeah, that's three players I would like, because I've been watching Jack Grealish for a while. So yeah, that's three players that I would like to see. But don't know. It looks like Liverpool's not going to make any signings unless it's going to be free transfers. Because of the COVID situation. So no one has money like Abramovich.
I read that Klopp also mentioned something about like minimal signings coming in, and Liverpool aren't in a position to really make too many big name signings. For me, Grealish, he's good. He is good, but what everybody thinks of, certain English talent being hyped and touted for more than where they are at the moment. But I think Klopp is a brilliant manager, because when he was at Mainz, when he was at Dortmund, he just has a knack of taking players and making them, improving them, and making them better than what they are. And that's what you look for in a manager. You look for them to work with a squad. Yes, you got to make signings, but at the same time, a manager needs to coach the players to be better than what they are, and for them to increase their level. And I think if he didn't do that, Liverpool wouldn't be sitting as league champions. So yeah, he's a fantastic manager. I don't think anybody can even dispute that. I just want to know, like, of course, your squad is very important. Players like Dejan Lovren, Divock Origi. I know we've often talked, Taariq, where like you want to pull your hair out because of Lovren. Just their futures. What's it looking like? Oh, I take it they're obviously going to be the next season. But what do you see the future looking like for them in the Liverpool jersey?
I think one of the main reasons why Liverpool didn't sign Werner because of COVID as well, because Divock Origi just signed a new contract this season, I believe. So that means he's going to be there for at least another 2-3 years. So that means Klopp actually rates him and believes that he can and challenge those front three. Lovren, I'm not so sure. I think maybe he's on his way out. I don't know because he hasn't been playing in the lockdown after the restart. Even though Liverpool haven't really been rotating their centre backs. Why didn't Lovren come on when Gomez or Matip got injured? Gomez went to left back. Fabinho went to go play at centre back, and Lovren was on the bench. He didn't come on.
Yeah,
So
that's it a lot.
that says a lot what Klopp thinks about him. Doesn't really trust him, uh, maybe in certain games. So I think Lovren is mistake prone at times. There's games where he's brilliant, and there's games where he's just absolutely rubbish, in my opinion. So yeah. So I don't know
Consistent
what.
for being.
Yeah. So in as a centre back, you need to be consistent. You're the last line of defense before the goalkeeper. So once you make that mistake, they're gonna punish you.
Mm. Where does Klopp rank among Liverpool managers that you've seen in your time as a Liverpool fan?
I think the best. He won Champions League and the league. I always rate Benitez was my favorite, to be honest, and then Brendan Rodgers, but Klopp just beats them both. So I think Brendan Rodgers started the philosophy the way Liverpool played without defending particularly well. They were more of a goal scoring team and they had a brilliant talent in Luis Suarez, but Klopp just made this team into something, a machine. I'll put it, a wild old machine.
I
Yeah,
think if I have to give my view, I agree with that because if I look at Klopp, he's taken ordinary players, ordinary so to speak, and made them into Champions League and league winners. I mean, if I think of like Benitez, he was also great at Liverpool, and he won the Champions League with Jimmy Traore and players like that, and he made ordinary players, play above themselves, and they went on to win the Champions League. But with Klopp, he's also done that, but he's taken it to another step further by consistently performing. Because the Champions League, you could win that by playing, I think it's 13 games a season, and you could win the Champions League. Whereas the league, it's over 38 games, so you need consistency over a period of 9 months, basically. So I think with Klopp, he's taken ordinary players and just taken them to another level, and they've kept that level for a long period of time. So I think for me, like, that's what makes Klopp the best. I do love Rafa because obviously he managed Newcastle and he did great things there also with our club. So I've got a special place for Rafa, but I think in terms of Klopp, he should be Liverpool's best manager in the last 30 years, definitely.
and then Taariq, uh, Istanbul 2005, Madrid last year, just missed out on the league champions this year. What has been of those three? What's been the best moment for you? Two Champions League and winning winning the league here. What for you is giving you the best feeling?
Definitely winning the league, in my opinion, because I've never experienced it. So I had a different feeling. Liverpool winning the Champions League uh, last year and in 2005 was amazing. But I think the league just gives you a different feeling. Knowing you're close to it, you're close to it. You get so close, but it's so far. Liverpool was so close. And this year was next level. And I got to celebrate with my daddy, who seen Liverpool win the league before. I never thought I'd see Liverpool win the league in my lifetime. And I got to see it, and it was just amazing. So I would rank this number one, definitely. Hopefully, they could continue. That will make them even better champions. So But I think next year will be definitely a grind, I think, because United is emerging. I think Chelsea also, and City as always playing some extraordinary football. So maybe Newcastle as well with added money. You never know. So
Let's hope
so
so.
we'll see what happens.
On that note, just before we end off, Wasim, as a neutral, look what Liverpool has done this season is remarkable in terms of the league. Um, yes, they lost to Watford, but before then, like Taariq said right at the start of the video, they managed to grind victories. And usually a sign of a champion team is they're able to grind. You can't play brilliant football for 38 league games of the season. It's not possible. There's some games where you're going to have to just find a way to win and get over the line. And Liverpool have done. Can they emulate what they've done this season in terms of the type of football they've played and the points they've accumulated, the lack of losses? Can they emulate it next season?
I think next season is definitely going to be a lot harder than this season. My view is that City are going to be stronger. City made the mistake that when Company left last season, they never replaced him, and they were taking the assumption that Laporte is going to be the mainstay and they're going to build around him. And he got injured for a long period of time, and they basically had no leader at the back in terms of quality and in terms of actual leadership qualities. So when Laporte got injured, yeah, they suffered. So I think next season they're not going to make that same mistake. They're going to buy a centre back of high quality. There's talks of Koulibaly and those players. And if City then have two good centre backs, they'll be a much stronger team. Edison's a good goalkeeper, and the rest of the forward line is very good. So I see City as going to be much improved next season, and they're going to be at a higher level than they were this season. Liverpool have also had this tremendous home record for 2 or 3 seasons now. I think that's going to be difficult to maintain because they are champions. Teams are going to save the cup final, so to speak, when they go to Anfield. So I think it's going to be a lot harder next season. Whether they can do it, they have a chance because they've got a good squad still. But if they don't buy too many players and other teams strengthen, that's going to close the gap, and so it's going to be a lot tighter next season, in my opinion. And I feel City is going to be the team to beat next season because of what they didn't do this season. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, I think Liverpool will definitely have a chance.
Yeah, for me as a United fan, I can tell you straight out, Anfield is the worst place to go to. Like we always play terrible football. We very rarely play good football going there. It just feels like the fans in the stadium they just so much more up for it when United come to Anfield, and Anfield's just a really really tough place to go to. So yeah, I think they've turned Anfield into a fortress. And I think last season we said it's going to be tough for Liverpool to challenge because what City did last season was amazing. But I think they're going to have that wherewithal and that belief, and they could possibly push on next season. Taariq, just to end off, lastly, we'll end off with you. Next season is going to present a new challenge. Yeah, same question as I had for Wasim. Do you think you guys can emulate what you've done this season, especially considering that you've not lost many games?
I think definitely they can. Um, I think definitely they can. In a way, I think they will be more hungry. I think because with the emergence of United playing well, Chelsea's new signings also they're playing well, and I think City as well. I think those are the top four that for me, in my opinion, at the moment. I don't know what's happening with Spurs at the moment, but I think Liverpool can. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. But if they continue the way they are, continue being mentality monsters and fight till the end, they have every chance of retaining, but it's going to be very difficult in the end.
See, you guys call yourselves the unbearables. Hopefully you won't be unbearable for too much longer. And what Spurs are doing, they're suffering from the Mourinho effect. That's what's happening at Spurs. But guys, Todd, thank you so much for coming on and making yourself available to us. Hopefully we'll have you in the future as well. Wasim, my brother, all the best for Newcastle's future endeavours. And of
Thanks.
course, United, United have a big one coming up on Monday against the informed Southampton side with Danny Ings leading the line. So, guys, Shot, thank you very much. Have a fantastic evening.
Thanks, yes, thanks for having me.